the most important call to action is that we have to address seriously the problem of gentrification from the perspective that gentrification has been a process that has informed the Puerto Rican community of Chicago for the past 50 years.
My call to action to politicians is that they first of all talk to the local community, that they evaluate what's going on in the community, what's going on with residents in the community and their housing situation.
The most urgent issue under the affordable housing umbrella today is development of affordable housing. We are far behind when it comes to creating affordable housing for residents, and yet our community is growing. So the growth of our community is not impaired with the units available.
So number one is education and awareness. So the people that are at this conference, as happens at a lot of these at these groupings, is a lot of us are on the same page already, right? So our jobs are then to educate and make aware our neighbors and their issues as well. So as some of us talked about on the panel, housing is really important, of course. It's a foundational thing that we all need to survive here, but that is integrally related to health outcomes. So if you don't have stable housing, how's your mental health condition when you have anxiety, isolation, and depression? Are you able to then go to work? Are you able then to study at school for the kids that don't know if they're gonna go to the same school next month because their rent has jumped from $800 to $1,300 a month?
The number of community residents that came and that have stayed throughout the summit is indicative of how much they care about this issue. These are families that are going through this. These are families that are suffering oftentimes in silence when they're being displaced, when their property taxes are going up. So these are families that already know of the imminent threat that gentrification has on their lives.
There is power in collaboration, and people think, that alone they're not that effective, and their vote doesn't count and all of that. But indeed, when there's an issue of sort of survival importance, we're talking about not just housing here, we're talking about cultural survival for 5 or 6 neighborhoods, across the northwest side of the city.
I think that the most important call to action to the elected officials is to look at the affordable community housing plan that we are going to create together.
This community, this Puerto Rican community here in Chicago is a very conscious community. It's been in the fight a long time. You obviously have a lot of electoral power, and that puts you in the forefront of helping to tease these issues apart and to give the rest of us guidance. And I think that it's important for you to assume that mantle and not just to think this is about the Humboldt Park area, but that really the nation is waiting to hear from you.